Hello and welcome aboard Transworld Airlines. I'm Sarah Dinkelman, a flight attendant here at TWA. To celebrate our 75th anniversary, we'd like to take a look back to our very beginning. In our earliest days when we were known as TAT, Charles Lindbergh pioneered transcontinental flight by creating the first ever coast-to-coast route in 1929. Today you can board a TWA flight in New York and a few hours later land in Los Angeles and enjoy a meal and a movie on the way. But for the early air traveler, the adventure was the trip itself, air by day and rail by night. 2 days later, they were finally there.
The journey began at New York's Pennsylvania Station, where passengers boarded a Pullman train for a nighttime trip to Port Columbus, Ohio. Here, in daylight hours, they boarded a gleaming Ford tri-motor for the second leg of their journey. No pretty hostesses serving steak or champagne to these pioneers. Sandwiches and coffee were the order of the day as they flew westward, with stops at Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Kansas City, finally putting down at Winoka, Oklahoma. With darkness approaching, they boarded another Pullman train and traveled overnight to Clovis, New Mexico. With the arrival of daylight again, they departed on the last leg of the journey by air over the same mountains the 49ers had crossed less than a century before, finally arriving in Los Angeles after 2 nights and 2 days of almost constant travel.
Early in 1931, Transcontinental and Western Air decided that the Ford tri-motor was too slow, too noisy, and too uncomfortable to fly into the airline's future. So Transcontinental and Western Air launched the most important mission of research and development of modern aircraft that aviation had ever seen. In August of 1932, Transcontinental and Western Air President Jack Fry sent a letter to all aircraft manufacturers with specifications for the first modern airliner. Some of the suggestions came from Charles Lindbergh himself. The Douglas Aircraft Company responded, and in 1933, the first and only DC-1 was delivered for extensive flight testing. The DC-1's performance exceeded everyone's expectations. Along with technical advancements, the DC-1 had more comfortable passenger seats, cabin temperature control, even a soundproof cabin. Transcontinental and Western Air placed an order for 25 Douglas aircraft, which, slightly modified, would hold 14 passengers. The new model became the rugged and dependable DC-2, which made its maiden flight on May 11, 1934, ushering in a new era for the airline and commercial aviation. Even today, the DC-2 and its legendary successor, the DC-3, remain among the most recognizable and popular airliners of all time. Today, the journeys are less time-consuming and the airliners much larger. But that early pioneering spirit lives on, every time a plane takes to the air, taking a passenger from one place in the world to another. From all of us at Transworld Airlines, thank you for flying TWA.